To locals around the region, guitar slang singer-songwriter Duane Carleton is commonly referred to as a human jukebox. Many say it's his immense catalog of material and ability to perform nearly any song on the spot. In this week's Sound Sessions, the Human Jukebox talks life, music, and what initially got him interested in playing guitar, songwriting, and performing on local stages. Whether playing solo shows covering other artists' songs to performing with his band, the Backwoods Messiahs, Duane Carleton is a favorite among locals. Every Sunday night, Duane plays for what many in Killington area refer to as Locals Night.
I know a lot of the tunes that that I've had requested by the locals, so I know when I see certain people, I'll be like, oh, there's Bloomer, or and I know what songs I want to hear. So it's been nice, and their support has been just really outstanding. So I appreciate it a lot.
Locals' unwavering support is one of the reasons Duane continues to play.
What's really cool about it is that these are the people that, they work their butts off all week long, serving other people. And what I've tried to do is, Sunday night is kind of their beginning of the weekend. They usually have Monday, Tuesday off because they're working in restaurants and things like that. So I really go out of my way to cater to the folks that, they've put in the hours all week and been working hard, and they can come and hang out. And
Duane's extensive knowledge of tunes is one reason his fans call him the Human Jukebox.
The Human Jukebox moniker is kind of a double-edged sword for me, because as far as going out and doing like happy hours and shows like that, where it's much more reliant on the cover tunes, it's great for me, and that was kind of why I started doing it. And basically all it is, I have a lot of tunes in my head. I'm kind of old school. I don't use any kind of, teleprompter or iPad or music stand. I actually do them out of my head, so people call me the Human Jukebox, because I encourage them to request tunes, and they can do that. And, I don't know every song, but I can usually get somewhere in the ballpark. Where it's kind of been, the other side of that is, when I go out and do my original songs, the Human Jukebox thing kind of sometimes overshadows what I'm trying to do with my original music.
You might be interested to know playing guitar was not Duane's first instrument.
I started out as a piano player. I took piano lessons starting when I was around 5 or 6, because I had an older friend. He was like a year older, that took lessons, and I thought he was pretty cool. So if he took lessons, it must be cool. And then, but even, I took like 5 years of classical lessons, and then the last year, I had totally been sucked into the whole rock and roll thing, and I wanted to play more popular music. But during that whole time, probably about time I was 4 or 5, I had discovered the Beatles and the Beach Boys, 45s, which is dating my age right there, but they were my older brothers and sisters' 45s. It was the Beatles and Beach Boys, and I would listen to that and strum a badminton racket and pretend to play. And eventually, when I got into junior high, or right before that, I got given a guitar for Christmas, tried to play it, hurt my fingers, gave up, and then a year or so later, tried again over the course of a summer, and then went back to school that fall, and there was a band that had formed at school, and I just started hanging out with them and picking up tips from them.
Talking with Duane about how the live music scene has changed over the past few decades in Rutland is kind of a buzzkill. 20 years ago, Duane says clubs in Rutland were packed with musicians playing live.
People used to come out to see live music. It was what they did on the weekends, or even midweek. But, there used to be clubs in Rutland that had music 7 days a week. And those days are gone and probably never coming back,
Much of that has to do with the fact that we can download songs online in less than 5 seconds. Back in the day, folks had to save to buy an album.
So many people getting comfortable with the idea of not paying for music, it makes music not have value to them. Whereas when I was a kid, when you went without eating lunch at school for a couple of weeks because you were stashing that money away to go buy an album, there was value to that record, and you were going to devour it. I mean, you were going to look at, all the posters that came in it and read everything on the liner notes, and you were going to listen to that thing 50,000 times, and because you had, there was some suffering to get it. Whereas like you say now, click, save, boom, burn it, share it, whatever, and it kind of devalued, I think.
The Times-Argus named Duane's current album Rust the top rock album in Vermont. He's currently back in the studio recording new tunes and is looking forward to upcoming shows with his band, the Backwoods Messiahs.
I couldn't be more proud of a band. I mean, I'm really happy with this group of guys, and I think it's kind of a special band. It's really solid players and really tight, and and it's got a kind of a unique vibe. The music is, I grew up. Like I say, I had the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and then I, totally got into British rock, like Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, but at the same time, my older brother was a folkie, so I had all these kind of influences, Neil Young and, CSN and that kind of thing. So I kind of have been, for a lot of years, my original music is sort of this weird mashup of, of kind of almost like British rock with Americana. I would call it Americana just because that kind of is a catch-all these days, but it might have some country elements, it might have some rock or blues elements, So yeah, I'm looking to do more playing with them and finish up the album. And
if you haven't seen Duane live, trust us, it's worth it. You can watch him live every weekend in Killington at several different venues. Visit DuaneCarleton.com for a full list of shows.